This is a Dubai Eye 103.8 podcast. This is Afternoons with Helen Farmer.
Live your best life
On Dubai Eye 103.8.
Wonderful to have you with us for another episode of the Afternoons with Helen Farmer podcast. On this episode, we're exploring careers, finances, and some inspiration too. And we love a bit of positive coming out of the pandemic. It didn't start well, this story. Ross and his wife Kimberly were left stuck out of the UAE for months in their native South Africa last year. Unpaid leave, of course. But how could they turn that around? Well, you're going to be surprised by hearing the risks they took and how it paid off, plus how they're inspiring others to take control of their finances.
Life Balance on Afternoons with Helen Farmer.
We love hearing about people's, and I hate the word journeys, but sometimes it is a journey, about what people have been through over the course of the last year. We'd love to hear yours as well. So please do get in touch with something that you want to share on 4001, the positive, the negative, what you've learned through the course of the pandemic. No one has been unaffected by COVID-19, either directly or indirectly, professionally or personally. Ross Horwitz joining us today. He and his wife Kimberly were in a very familiar situation, unfortunately for many, this time a year ago, but have turned it around and are using the expertise and what they've learned to help other people in similar situations and those moving forward with continued financial insecurity. Ross, can you tell us a little bit about what you do and what life was like BC before COVID?
So I'm a restaurant manager. I've been in the industry for more than 11 years already, in the food and beverage sector, and I've worked in South Africa, where I'm from, as well as the UAE. I've been here for 6 to 7 years. So this place is now my home. I love the UAE, and yeah, so I that's what I've been before. So my wife, Kimberly, she doesn't work at the moment. So she actually has a chronic illness. So she's been going through a rough time at the moment. So she just doesn't work at the moment. So I'm the breadwinner. Which
is such often the case for couples here in the UAE through situations such as yourself, or through raising family, or simply jobs not being available to what people want to do. South Africa, we know, has been impacted like so many countries around the world by COVID-19. Tell us about your decision then to stay in the UAE versus go back home to South Africa a year ago when it all got a bit real.
Well, I mean, we've kind of made this our home, so this is our home away from home. So we do see ourselves living here for the near future, and we really love this place. We've been here for a very long time, so we call this place our home now. We don't really see South Africa as our number one home anymore, so it's still a beautiful place to go back to once a year to see family and friends. However, the UAE is now the place we call home as an expat.
It's a strange shift, isn't it? I feel the same. I really hope my mum's not listening to this. But yeah, I feel exactly the same. Did you decide to go back to South Africa last year then? Or did you decide to stay here?
Yes. So last year we went back to South Africa to celebrate our wedding. So this was meant to be a very joyful occasion. We've been planning this for 2 years now, and we finally went back to celebrate the wedding with family and friends. And unfortunately, due to COVID-19, everything got postponed, and it's been postponed 3 times since then. And we've actually recently just cancelled it. Unfortunately, that's what happened. And while we were down there, we got stuck, just like many other South Africans, just like many other people around the world. We got stuck, and we thought it was going to be a short while, but it was a good 4 months being stuck in South Africa.
4 months? How long were you supposed to be going back for?
For around 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness, where were you staying?
So yeah, we got a little apartment. I mean, all our family and friends were there. So we got a little apartment to enjoy the time while we were there. But yeah, unfortunately, we got stuck, and it was dreadful to have to obviously postpone the wedding, and then to hear that you actually cannot get back to the place where you live, place where you call home, and the place where you making your money, your salary on a monthly basis.
Right. I think that's emotionally really disruptive to not have that certainty, to not have a return flight and ticket and go, we are going to be on that plane. I can tell my boss that I'm going to be back in the office on Sunday, the blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then did you feel like you were almost letting work down, even though it was completely out of your control?
Absolutely. I've also got a big team at work. I'm running 4 restaurants. So to let 4 teams down, that the manager's not there anymore. It was hard on me, definitely, but it was also extremely hard on obviously my family because there was no money coming in anymore. So I was put on unpaid leave. Obviously, I can't do what we are doing now in terms of my job, as I need to physically be there. I'm extremely grateful for my work to keep me on during this time, as I wasn't really offering any value being stuck for 4 months abroad.
As you said, so put on unpaid leave, which is a situation a lot of people found themselves in. A lot of people who were working full-time were put on reduced salaries. Some still are, unfortunately. And as we said, it's that uncertainty of not knowing when that next paycheck is coming in. So presumably you have rent here in the UAE, you're then renting an apartment. We talk a lot on the show about what we should and shouldn't do when it comes to financial planning. And the emergency pot is something so many experts come up with time and time again. It's something I'm working on. What about you? Did you have that emergency pot to be dipping into? Because I think this would constitute an emergency.
So I did. I've always been very financially savvy. So I've always had a little bit of money ready to go in case something happened, as we all should do. And I decided to not only use that emergency fund to buy the bread and the milk and the necessities, I actually used it to create a second income or to create some financial stability where we were stuck out. We didn't know we were going to get back anytime soon. It could have been a year, it could have been 2 years. Thank God we made it back. However, we didn't know how long it would take. So my mind went into overdrive. So I started to think about how can I make the income, I mean, as we do, you're in a desperate situation. So you run to find what you can do. I mean, stuck in an apartment for 4 months, both my wife and myself put our mind together and said, let's research the stock markets. Let's become financially independent, let's not rely on something else external to bring money in. And I used probably half of our emergency fund and I just put it in the stock market. And within 4 months, I had tripled my money, which was unbelievable. I was shocked myself.
Oh my goodness.
I've never been someone that played the stock market, and these 4 months were really beneficial for that. I learned another trade, basically.
This is because I think of stock market, I think long game. I think that's people, doing, all sorts of different funds, really diverse portfolio. You'd go pretty low risk, and you might see some great returns in 5 years. You might need to ride it out a little bit. So 4 months, you tripled what you'd put in. Obviously, a really volatile time as well, right? So what kind of resources were you looking at that point to educate yourself about the stock market?
The most important thing is I got involved. So I joined stock groups. I joined on Facebook, on WhatsApp. I joined communities. I researched balance sheets. I watched video after video on different companies. And I bought into the smaller companies that had a bigger potential. And this was at a time where the market was in a sort of a crash. So I got in right at the bottom, and that's when it started lifting up, which I was very lucky, but also I really got involved, and I met with people, and I spoke to people online about how to play this, how to do that, and I learned the trade, but I learned through people that were experienced in that industry.
Life Balance on Afternoons with Helen Farmer.
We are talking careers this afternoon and some positivity out of the pandemic. Ross Horwitz was unpaid for 4 months when he was locked out of the UAE in South Africa during the pandemic last year. But during that time, he decided to research the stock market and invest half of his wife's emergency funds into them. Tripled his money, and is now passionate about telling others how to do it as well. He's not a financial advisor. He just wants to build a community where you can share and exchange knowledge about growing your money. But putting half of their money into stocks, that's a massive decision to make.
It was a bit of, are we crazy? Are we not crazy? I mean, should we not keep this? And we both young. We are both pretty young. So we thought, if we lose all of it, at least we have the other half, and at least we have the family support here. Let's do something that we've never done before. Let's pay ourselves first, which is a phrase that I use over and over again. I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it taught me that phrase. And this is so important. I mean, we all work so hard. And at the end of the month, we just pay everyone else. We never think of ourselves. We never think of ourselves.
I know. I was just talking to my friend about this last week because she's in the UK, and we were talking about trying to plan at a time where it's actually quite hard to plan. And she was saying, well, I pay this and I pay that, and my husband pays this and he pays that. And then at the end of the month, there might be some money that we put into savings. And I was like, maybe reverse that and, kind of prioritize the savings bit at the beginning. But it is really, really difficult to shift spending patterns, saving patterns, open yourself up to being vulnerable. And as you're saying, open yourself up to the fact that we might lose this. So only doing, or playing, so to speak, with what you could potentially afford to lose. You've started sharing your own knowledge now about what this last year has taught you. What kind of format has that taken, Ross?
Absolutely. So as soon as I got back, I was on like this business mindset, and I created another passion. I mean, the passion was always there, but it was dormant. And this just brought it out of me. And I since then, I have created an amazing community on Facebook. There's just over 900 people now. And it's all people in the UAE, mostly expats, and all focused on growing and invest in their money. So it's a completely free group. I don't charge anything. It's basically just resource, and we help each other out. We teach each other about our failures. We teach each other about our successes, and it really helps you grow your money. And as well, since then, I created an Amazon business for my wife. So my wife now has an Amazon business that she focuses on. Obviously, with her having a chronic illness, it's sometimes very hard to go on with the daily life. So now she has something to look forward to. She has something to focus on, and to feel, happy that she has something there to do,
Something on her own terms as well. So when she's having a great day, she can be productive, and when she's not, she can take a step back. This is your platform now. What are some of the ways that people could get involved? And really, do you let anybody in?
Yes, we do. We do let people in if you answer all of the questions. It's basically a group that we try to keep all the scammers away. There's Exactly. And there's a lot of phishing and scamming out there in the internet groups. So I've decided to keep all of that out there. I'm not going to be like that one admin that lets everyone in to make sure that they have more members than other groups.
And then you spend your life dealing with all the garbage that makes your life harder as an admin down the line, right? Better to be strict from the beginning and only welcome people who've got a similar mindset, similar goals. And that's not saying that they're a prince who needs 5,000 euros, potentially.
Exactly. I've actually only started around 3 months ago, so it's growing pretty quickly. And the people on there are amazing. I don't know them from bar soap, but I know them financially, So we keep each other informed on the latest business thing, and it's great. It's a great community.
Life Balance on Afternoons with Helen Farmer.
It is Monday and we're in conversation with Ross Horwitz. He's a UA resident who started an online community helping provide resources about personal finance to people who would like to grow their money, even if they haven't got much of it. He's not a financial advisor, he's a restaurant manager. But during the pandemic, when he was stuck outside of the UAE, he's realised that you can't count on your salary forever. The Facebook group is called UAE Grow Your Finances.
Absolutely. That's actually one of my group rules is no question is stupid. So we try to get everyone in from a beginner level to a passionate investor, and we don't only focus on the stock market, we focus on all the different phases. So we focus on different businesses, like the Amazon business. We focus on the property game. I own a studio in Dubai and I rent it out on a yearly basis. So that's another financial mindset that I put into place in my profile.
Now you're back, you're working, the salary is coming in. Your wife, Kimberly, has her hustle or side hustle, depending on how she's feeling. What does the future hold? Is this something you want to make a full-time thing of? Is it going to remain your side hustle, Ross?
Well, yes, this is the future. This is the future for me. I believe that this passion has grown inside of me for years and years and years, and finally it's been let out. And I've actually recently just started a YouTube channel to keep everyone informed on the different side hustles I'm doing, the businesses, the failures, the success stories. And yeah, I actually launched my first video last week.
Do you think you would have started this business, this initiative, if it wasn't for COVID-19?
Probably not. Probably not. The reason why is I think we all get into comfort zones, and the comfort zone I was in was very comfortable. I was in a stage where I was going to work, I was getting a monthly salary, and I was living, and there was no extreme side of my financial debt being there or things like that. And I think that as soon as my mind went into overdrive, I need to find another income. I need to find finance to support my family. That's whole, you either sink or swim motion set in. And I think that's the reason what pushed me to create this new passion of mine. And this is the reason why I say pay yourself first. As soon as you get your salary, you put what you want away into an investment. If you do not have enough money on the side to pay everything else, that's when you're going to decide, how do I make that money on the side? And this is the mindset that I keep telling myself over and over again.
You make a decision, don't you? You either scale your life back to fit into what you're being paid, or you scale your income up to live how you want to be.
Absolutely. This is exactly the mindset that I take on, and this is exactly the mindset that we talk about over and over on my group as well as my YouTube channel.
For anyone listening who thinks, I'd love to do this, I'd love to get involved in stocks, but I actually haven't got any excess cash. I haven't got even 1,000 dirhams that I could put into stocks, or perhaps my salary is still on pause, or I'm still on reduced salary and there's not much wiggle room at all. What advice would you give to someone who's really feeling it right now, really feeling the pinch?
I would say hold off for a little bit. Don't put your last penny into something that is going to take time to give you returns. Wait until you're a bit more comfortable and then start. But don't wait too long. As soon as you get your salary, put money in. Don't wait, because at the end of the day, you pay yourself first now, it's going to benefit you in the long run. If you pay yourself later, there's nothing coming in. There's no point of leaving your money under your mattress. That's the point.
And lastly, I can't have you on the show without mentioning the other C word, crypto. Are you getting involved? Have you dipped your toe in? Are you aboard the crypto roller coaster, Ross?
Yes, I am. I joined probably around 2 to 3 weeks ago. So I follow this gentleman called Gary V, massive influencer in the financial world, and he just launched an NFT, which is another form of crypto, and that actually got me involved. I was like, okay, now I need to get involved. If Gary V's in, I need to get in. So that's what I did. Yeah.
What NFT, that's non-fungible token for anyone who needs to go back and listen to our show on this recently. What's Gary V done with NFTs? What's he created?
So he's created a platform where you buy one of his doodles. So, his scribbles that he's done. So you buy one of them online. There's only around 10,000 there. And that scribble gives you a world of possibility. So he launches new things like a conference that you can get invited to if you have one of his doodles, like a free one-on-one session with Gary V, lunch with Gary V, we're going to watch a basketball game with him. So he's created a whole community just around his NFTs, which is amazing, to be honest. So yeah, that's the reason why I decided to jump in.
Maybe we should make an NFT of this show and see where it takes us. Ross, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. If anyone wants to get in touch on 4001, we will reply with the name of Ross's Facebook group. Would you mind reminding us just one more time?
So it's UAE Grow Your Finances.
And just to be super clear, you're not making any money out of anyone. It's purely a resource, people sharing information. in a responsible fashion. And I think it's really incredible that COVID's acted as a catalyst for you to tap into a passion that is helping you, but also helping people in a similar situation. So positivity in the pandemic. It's a rare and beautiful thing. Ross, thank you so much for your time today. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Helen. Have a good day. Thank you.
For those of you who are interested, you can contact Ross through his Facebook group, UAE Grow Your Finances, and he has a YouTube channel called Ross Horwitz.
This is Afternoons with Helen Farmer
Join the conversation.
on Dubai Eye 103.8.
You can tune into Afternoons with me, Helen Farmer, live on Dubai Eye 103.8, Sunday to Thursday between 2 and 5. Don't forget to rate and subscribe to this podcast. It helps other people find us, boost us in the ratings, and you'll get it direct to your phone.
You've been listening to a Dubai Eye 103.8 podcast. To enjoy lots more from Dubai Eye in the United Arab Emirates, just go to DubaiEye1038.com or find them wherever you normally get your podcasts.